Have you ever had the fact that you interviewed a witness cause you to be, that you interviewed an accuser cause you to become a witness and be disqualified from prosecuting?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Goodenow, is it consistent with the standards of practice for prosecutors in North Carolina for a prosecutor to obtain indictments against a person for rape, kidnapping, and sexual offense when the only evidence is the accuser's accusation and the accuser has made numerous inconsistent statements and contradictory statements about whether the assault occurred?
Objection. Overruled.
If I'm understanding your statement correctly, are you asking me to we pursue rape charges in which the only evidence we have is the statement of the accuser and she's given numerous accounts of what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
I would think that that was, I know I never have, I would think that that would be highly unlikely for that to happen.
Are you aware of any practice that's generally followed by prosecutors in North Carolina about whether or not to allow a defendant or a defense attorney to come and present alibi evidence before deciding whether to pursue charges?
By present, do you mean present to whom?
Present to the prosecutor. Just in a meeting or something of that type.
Do you mean do we let them come and talk to us?
Yes, ma'am.
Not only do we let them, I would encourage them to do so.
Why is that?
Well, I guess if you want to have an example of a cynical old prosecutor, they might say, well, if you're playing poker with somebody and they're offering to show you their hand, why wouldn't you look? A fair prosecutor would say they may have evidence that may...
A fair prosecutor would do.
Say that again.
Objection to what a fair prosecutor would do.
Overruled.
A fair prosecutor would want to hear to determine whether or not it would make a decision on what they should do with the case. I have had defense attorneys come and present me evidence on cases where people were on death row, asking me to reconsider them being on death row, and on 2 occasions I have done that and taken the prisoner off of death row.
So, do you know of any risk that a prosecutor runs by letting a defense attorney or a defendant come and present information about an alibi?
The only risk I could think of is you couldn't let a defendant come into your office by themselves and give you that information, because that would be improper contact with the defendant themselves. But there is no risk of letting the attorney come in and tell you what they have.